Evidences in history. How do we find about an event that took place thousands of years ago? This can be possible only by finding the remains of that time. Archaeologists and historians study these remains and discover what might have happened in the past. They are very helpful to give us knowledge about the things that took place in the past. The sources of history can be divided into two types: archaeological and literary. An archaeologist and a historian work very similar to a detective. They solve the mysteries of past with the help of historical clues. Archaeological source. 1. The archaeological sources played a very important role in the construction and reconstruction of India. 2. The archaeological source of Indian history is about 2 centuries old. 3. Monuments, inscriptions, artifacts, and coins are the examples of archaeological sources. 4. This source increased our knowledge of past and also provides valuable information. Monuments. These are the buildings of historical importance. They tell us about the period in which they were built, the person who built it, social life, religious beliefs, and the culture, and the knowledge of the science of the period. The temples, stupas, monasteries help us to know about the past lives. Monuments tell us about the cultural heritage and their importance. Inscriptions. The inscriptions of ancient India were made by the kings and royal patrons of that period. These are written records which were carved on rocks, cave walls, metal pillars, walls of temples, and on clay. Large number of inscriptions belonging to the Emperor Ashoka of Mauryan dynasty have been found. Artifacts. The artifact is an object made by any human being. It represents the culture and the history of the previous time. The objects include pottery, tools, metal objects, jewelry, ornaments, and weapons. They help us with vital clues about the past. Coins. These are a valuable source of information. The history of coins starts from the ancient India to the present. Coins tell us about the economy and the finance of the kingdom. It also tells about the extent of a king's empire and the trade with other regions. Literary sources. Literary sources are the information sources which are made to create a report or a writing assignment. It includes the handwritten records of the past in the form of books and manuscripts. These scripts were written on barks of a birch tree and palm leaves. Literary sources are of 2 types: religious sources and secular sources. Religious literary sources. It consists of writings that include the religious literature. The books based on religions are Vedas, Ramayana, Buddhism, Gita, Quran, Bible, and the Purans. Secular literary sources. Secular literature consists of writings that are non-religious literatures. The law book of ancient India, that is, Dharma Sutras and Smritis, belong to this group. Other secular literatures are Arthashastras, poems of Kalidas, etc. Need to preserve source. It is essential to preserve the records. If the records are destroyed, then we will lack the details of our previous and ancient era. The previous records help us to find what the people have left behind. Archaeologists and historians help us to study the remains of the past and tell us about the past incidents. An archaeologist is one who works on the scientific study of prehistoric people and their cultures by the analysis of their arts, culture, and the monuments. Brainbulb S.R. Rao was a famous Indian archaeologist. He discovered the Harappan site of Lothal. A historian can be defined as a person who studies the history of previous and ancient era.